Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are around the world. I'm Alex, here with Josh. Welcome to the Third Party Podcast.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Let's go.
enough with the food stuff and the anime stuff. Hopefully.
We
But
actually have topics today ahead of time. That's crazy.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you have things to talk about when you have like, work coming up, or client stuff, or recent news that has been popping. Just a few minutes ago, I think you told me about like the Unreal Engine thingy.
Oh yeah.
Real-time path. I have not seen it yet.
So they were talking about some like other cool stuff. So it was just some random video that I found where, they were talking about real-time path tracing as like coming into Unreal 5.2.
I can't wait, bro. Because like path tracing, like what can go, like if it's real time, then it's like, what else is there to change? It's like it's real. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean it's making me want to switch to Unreal more and more for like rendering and world creation.
I want to switch to Unreal, but the only thing that just keeps me away is just the weird node system. I just want to know like how.
I wonder if there's like an add-on for it.
It's quite different. I mean, there are a lot of plugins in Unreal Engine, and then there are like add-ons or plugins for switching between like C4D to Unreal, Unreal to C4D, Blender, Maya, yada yada. But yeah, I guess, but yeah, I want to get into Unreal, but like I'm focusing on all these like motion designy stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as necessary for you.
Yeah, and if I had free time, I guess spend more to learning Blender's geometry nodes. There's
I mean, that's kind of worth it. Not that much worth it yet.
But Unreal Engine, there's like it has its own things, but.
Yeah, I mean, so there was a couple cool things I saw from that video because he was kind of going over the whole update of Unreal, and outside of just path tracing, there was something about AI to voice or voice to AI face. So essentially, if you talk, and I think it detects your tone, and it will procedurally generate like proper facial animation based on the tone of voice.
That's pretty good. That's pretty useful.
They had that. They talked about like how a person could record facial animation on their phone and like have it automatically on Unreal MetaHuman creators perfectly in like 2 minutes.
That would be great because I hate facial animation. Like
I do too.
I'm okay with animating arms and legs, but the face is like a different thing because you all have cheeks and.
But there was one really big thing, which was procedural world generation, because essentially you would have like assets, like let's say like a big rock, and if you placed it into like your environment, it would essentially your terrain would adjust based on the asset you put in. So if you put in like a rock formation, the ground would like level to like match that. Rocks will be lined along the side.
So like let's say I place a contraption and then there's be like a cave in or something like that or something like that.
Yeah, like it essentially will adjust the terrain based on that asset you put in.
That sounds like something that you would find in like games like City Skylines or
exactly
games and stuff where you build a thing and the dirt and the landscape adjusts for you. I mean that would be pretty sick.
I mean, I saw the demo for it. It was it looked amazing. But it does, like, the way they were running it was through, like a top tier, computer hardware.
That's sick. Is that? I'm guessing it's still in beta, right? Or
beta. It seems like the procedural thing, because that's what I'm mainly interested outside of the AI shit, in path tracing. Which the only thing is, it seems like it's a lot of work to get to the stance that they showed. Like I feel like there's a lot of steps that go into it. It's not just like a drag and drop system yet.
I'm more interested into the real time path tracing because
I mean, I'm still interested in that. Yeah.
Ever since like the whole like Lumen and Nanite thing came out, I'm like, Cycles path tracing real time when.
Let's go. I know. I just want it to somehow transfer over to Blender, but I know it's not going to.
The air right now. No, but like that's gonna be so sick. It's not only gonna save like a bunch of money, but like a bunch of time, but a bunch of money as well because I don't have to like spend.
Yeah, I mean,
on render farms. Time is like, again, Like again, the 30 series is still fast on its own for some vendors, but having it like real time, it's just like it's gonna be like AMVs now. Like the only time that you waste is actually on the procrastination.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I would hope. That's why I'm definitely going to be switching to Unreal after everything's over.
Yes, I guess they would. I mean, I'm like trying to decide, right? Because either Geometry Nodes or Unreal, because those two are Geometry Nodes. Like,
for motion graphics, I would say Geometry Nodes. But if
I
you're
guess,
doing,
but then there's also like the rendering and the the Manfred as well, Unreal Engine and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I guess
And
I've
the
just
thing
never
is with
seen people do motion design or graphics with.
Yeah. But the thing is, the other thing is with Geometry Nodes is I also have like C4D with a bunch of those stuff. So, anywho, we can talk more about that.
Yeah, we can later.
Yeah, but, we also we have topic. We have other
we
topics.
actually have topics. Because I was looking up a bunch of stuff today. I know Alex has one, so I kind of want him to go on his first, and then maybe we can go on to mine after.
Yeah, sure, okay. So the first one the one we could talk about is like, because recently I spent like I don't know how many bucks. I guess like $70 or something on Kitbash assets and stuff like that, which seem to some people like a lot, but that saves me like weeks of like work, because with you buy assets, right?
Yeah.
They're especially high quality assets most of the time, and textures as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it saves me a lot of time rather than having to hire a team or something, or having to do it by myself. Especially when I want to have so much detail and have it like in for like a short amount of time. So yeah, obviously I can model some of the assets myself. Again, it just takes too much time.
It's a lot of effort, yeah.
It's a lot of effort, but like if you can buy the assets, if it's available for you, like might as well save some time, because who actually cares about like
modeling
like,
each
process?
tiny little detail?
Exactly,
yeah.
like it's all about like the result and the like execution of everything. So
yeah,
so I bought a bunch of assets and stuff like that, but like there's also like the thing like it's also like super expensive. Oh, am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
There's also the thing where it's like super expensive. Like I actually got some of my assets like from ArtStation and Sketchfab, like purchased them. I wanted to get ones from some other websites. I forgot one of the websites that I checked today. But they had really good industrial assets and stuff like that. And then there's also Kitbash 3D.
Yeah.
They have like a full like world kit. Like,
yeah.
high quality, and they look like amazing.
I used the Cyberpunk one recently.
Yeah, but it's like $200, $100.
Yeah, sometimes it gets expensive. I think for the sake of like Kitbash, which is good. The only good thing about Kitbash is that it gives you like everything to fill out a whole city essentially.
Yeah,
like,
basically. Not only that, but like it also gives you access to like use it in all the programs, so like the materials in all those programs and all render engines as well. So you can put in like a Cinema 4D, Octane. You get the Octane.
Yeah.
These are like very high detailed assets. We topologize UV all out for you, but it's hella expensive, even for like an individual person.
Oh yeah. I barely try to pay for things when it comes to my own projects, but it's just because I don't have.
I think that's the goal for like a lot of like projects as well. But like let's say you do want to build a city, right? You want to make it as high quality as possible. You'd understand the value of the Kitbash assets, because these are like all handmade, which is why they're all expensive. And you can just place them around. And I've actually, I think I used a Neo Dubai Kitbash doing for like a commission, right? I was like working with other project files and stuff. And with all the buildings that they gave, it was in more than like enough. I think I only used like 10%, like 10%, 5 or like 10% of all the buildings that were actually there for the commission, because the client wanted these specific buildings, and we had all these like cool skyscrapers, and they wanted it to represent not Dubai but one of the Emirates. So that was cool. It also saved a bunch of time instead of having to model it. because especially when you're working with like client stuff, you always have your deadlines. So
Yeah, deadlines are kind of the only issue when it comes to modeling something yourself versus having to buy something. It almost
especially
seems
for
like
especially for personal work though, because you don't want to spend too much time on
yeah, you don't want to
modeling.
spend like dynamo level of time on it, you
Done
know.
for 3 years for one episode. Make all your assets
Didn't
yourself.
it take him like 14 years or some shit because he was like
No, no,
building
no,
it
no,
for
no.
like so
No,
long?
14 years was like his total years of doing CG.
Oh,
Three years.
I thought he was like doing it throughout that time though, like in
No, no,
between.
no, no. 3 years is this actual start to finish of Dynamo. But I think in between he was just not rushing it or anything
Yeah.
or something like that.
I feel like he wrote it, maybe made some assets, but he never really like started until yeah, the 3 year thing.
Some artists do that with their shorts. Like they make renders on the same exact style, and then combine them all together and eventually make a
Yeah,
short film.
your whole thing.
Yeah, some people do that. I'm not like a fan. I mean, I like doing that myself because I would like to have like a little of variation in my portfolio.
Yeah, same.
But it is nice. You have this one full project. You know exactly what this person does, where his style is, his
The skill set.
anime skill set, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, with someone with like a little bit of variation, it could be a bit vague on what exactly can this person do. So.
I mean, that does kind of go into the topic I wanted to bring up, but we could go into more about the asset because, all right, so like the whole topic for this was like buying assets versus making your own.
Yeah.
And then we also had like another topic today, which was standing out as a artist in the space. And this kind of goes into it. Like we I don't know if we want to go right into it or we can keep talking about the other thing.
If you have something to add, because you have yours with the cyberpunk thing, right?
Yeah, but even cyberpunk, most of it is barely most of it is not even my own like models. I think like one scene,
But
which was like
the time though. Still,
it saved me a lot of time. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't, and especially if you're getting assets based on like an IP,
Oh yeah, based on an IP, it's better to if you can find the asset or you can somehow take them from a game, which we talked about before in a later podcast.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to something like, like if you're doing Star Wars, right? You want to get like the TIE fighter.
Yeah.
Sometimes like getting the asset it's actually
you might as well get the asset because half of them are free. They're already like high detailed.
They're high detail, completely accurate to the actual thing. So why waste your time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you want to make a Nike commercial. I mean, there's no reason to model the actual like Nike,
the shoe, yeah.
The Nike Jordan 1 when you already have like several of those online, so it doesn't.
Several of them online. You have one in real life that you could photo scan. Like it doesn't like you have so many options to avoid modeling it by hand.
Like me, like they were actually for me actually one of my shoes I could just. There were 3 assets online, but none of them were downloadable. I mean, one of them were downloadable, but it was too low quality. My second option was legit to like photo scan it, and that went really well because
I feel like I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, photo scanning the shoe made the commercial, and some people were like, "Oh, like they didn't even actually care that I photo scanned the shoe." They just were like, "Oh, the commercial looks cool." So,
yeah.
Again,
overall, the end product is what matters.
Yeah, exactly.
So your process of getting there.
About, like, one guy was like, so I know you said that you photo scanned the shoe, but I don't really care. The commercial looks sick. Someone read it.
Yeah.
Someone read it. It's like, I think the commercial is a lot better than the photo scanning of the shoe because they didn't care, And that's something that, you don't want to like, you don't want to worry about people being like, oh, having to look at the small little details, because you don't go into like, you don't go to like watch Avatar and be like, oh, the cool water, like this droplet, like they probably like did this and that and like.
I mean, we do.
I mean,
but like the overall audience,
overall audience will just go like, But the story is like, it's alright,
The story's kind of mid, but like I'll still watch it.
It is kind of mid, but it's kind of cool. But they don't really go like, detail the water. For me, I was looking when they were like in Avatar 2, right?
Yeah.
And, when they were in the post with like the houses and stuff like that. They had like the whole net floor, and they're all walking on like the bouncy like floor.
I never watched it, so I don't know.
No, I watched it, but basically there's their houses.
Yeah.
Right, and you could think of it as like a tree house, right? Tree houses have these bridges.
Yeah.
But imagine them as like these giant clots, right?
Mm.
And all the characters are moving on it, and there's all like flexing and bending and deforming.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, that's kind of sick. My brother next to me was like, I don't give a fuck. Let me watch the movie. Shut up.
Yeah.
They were like walking. It was like boing, boing, boing.
Yeah, most people
Like,
definitely don't care. It is
They
overall
don't care about it's like a small detail. Who's gonna care?
the
But
end point.
For me, I think it's really cool, right? But then again, like
The
again,
ends
when it comes
justify
to-
the means.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
definitely.
then, there's the advantage, but there's also like, of course, disadvantages with using assets, especially when it's something that comes out of like Quixel. A lot of artists
We'll recognize it.
will not recognize the rocks of the Quixel. Like, I've seen it before. I've seen it like edits and commercials and whatever
Mm-hmm.
assets. So there's Quixel as well. You want to. Not saying that you shouldn't use it, because if you want rocks, it's better to like
Just download some rocks.
download some rocks, but then like don't overuse it, because don't use too much of assets, because
Okay, so I know when I make something, like the biggest thing, especially when it comes to like downloading an asset, if it's something that I truly do not need to make, like let's say I need a Ferrari in my shot, I'm gonna download a Ferrari.
Exactly.
I don't want to build that out. There's no point. But then let's say there's like he's driving to like this cafe, but the cafe needs to be very like ultra specific. Yeah, I'm gonna make that by hand.
To, like,
maybe,
model it.
model it, or maybe there's a potential that there's like a cash register in there. I'll maybe download a cash register. There's like little bits that like if you can avoid it and it's maybe not the center focus of a shot,
so
I wouldn't
like,
want to build it.
So let's say you want to build like a bedroom or something, right? You can just make the room. Maybe if you want, maybe you have a specific bed that you have in mind, and maybe you can, I guess, download like a PC model, a monitor model, make the chair, download the table model, download like a lamp.
Yeah, basically
the carpet, all of that. It all varies. So there's that. Because if you just straight up just download all the assets, right, and then you don't really, have full control. Modeling gives you like the full manual control of getting the asset that you want exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to like a specific idea that you have in your mind. Let's say you think of this kind of cool spaceship design. You won't find that asset online.
No, you
can
won't.
You can get kitbash assets of it.
You can maybe get
together, but you
the
won't-
greebles or something, like you can get the little bits,
exactly.
like it, because I mean, some things like have so much detail when it comes to like a model of something. A lot of the time, I don't know. I
like
just
a
feel like the
spaceship-
whole thing you
No,
can make it.
I felt
Sorry.
like a spaceship kitbash
Pack, yeah.
pack, for spaceships, not kitbash Street, not the website, different website, and it looked really good, right? But these look very like sci-fi human race. What if you wanted to get like an alien species kind of like race? Like a very abstract looking organic sci-fi.
Yeah,
You wouldn't
organic,
find
yeah.
that as easily as those ones, because those are very like common, like, right?
Mhm.
If you have like a very specific idea, then you also have to sort of like learn how to.
Yeah, it's like okay, I need this thing to look like a turd with like twigs wrapped around it. I need it to I don't know, like I need
purple glowing emission.
little, like these very
crystallized spheres, some
hyper
kind of
specific.
small cables.
You're not going to be able to
exactly.
find it all. And the thing is like those are the type of shit that like normally I would recommend making it yourself, but there are clearly going to be maybe parts that are you don't have high preferences on. I think that's the big thing is like clearly where your preferences lie. Like maybe let's say wait, hold it. Like if there's like a spaceship and there's like crystals aligned on it, just like random distributed crystals or like barnacles or something. Maybe it's like the bottom of a ship. and you have all the barnacles. Do you want to model the barnacles, or do you want to just distribute them using some like geonodes with like an asset of that you found online? Again, it's that high preference of what you care to make and what you can find. If you can find it, it is almost always better to use that option. But I think if you can't find it and it's hyper specific, that is definitely where you need to go. I need to make this myself.
But I don't think, but it also doesn't make, it doesn't really make sense to model if this thing that you're thinking about is also like just in the background, like a small object.
Exactly.
Yeah, like let's say you have like a cone,
like a street cone. A traffic cone.
Actually, you could just model it.
You could model it, but also like, I wonder if it would take longer to model it or to find it online.
No. It'll be easy. You can just cone, especially if it's a background, just cone, 2 colors, that's it. But let's say it's like a car in the background, like traffic. You're making traffic, you might as well get like a car asset instead of having to like, make the cars individually, especially highly detailed. So it doesn't make sense, Some people, also if anyone's gonna wonder, it's not necessarily stealing, unless you're straight up just like calling this asset your own.
Yeah, it's not stealing.
And if you buy it, it also belongs to you.
Yeah, if you buy it 100%, I think the free models are where the problems come in, because a lot of times they're like credit the the people.
For me, I credit just in case. I do give credit.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of people don't though. That's the thing. I never used to originally. I started doing that because I was like, oh, I probably should.
Yeah, but especially is harder when it's like, let's say you have the TIE fighter. Like, how many people model a TIE fighter?
Oh yeah,
50% of those people have it for free, so you don't even know if they stole it or they this thing.
Yeah, if it's a re-uploaded asset.
Some people just straight up just like, I don't care, I'm gonna make it again for my own thing. So
yeah, I mean like the guy that I hate bringing up the Cyberpunk project so many times, but the Atom Smasher model is from the game. The guy that I got it from had like a Patreon, and he was selling like ripped models from the game. So I downloaded a bunch of characters from the game that were like fully textured and rigged and like properly fixed for Blender. But I'm like, how much of that is his own, even though he did put a lot of work to optimizing it for Blender or like 3D programs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that level is like, again, I can't credit that guy. It's not his model.
Though if it's like let's say it's something like the Stormtrooper, I try to give credit, like, where I got this Stormtrooper asset from somewhere in Sketchfab.
Yeah, I mean, you could just put the link for it. If you paid for it, I feel like that's the only time you don't have to, especially if they give you, if in the
not
terms of service they tell you not to.
Case. I mean, I don't.
I guess if people ask too, they're like, "Where do you get the model?"
Yeah, but something like Kit Bash, like you know where that comes from because it's so common. It only comes to one place and everyone uses it.
Yeah,
or whatever.
And you paid for it, so it's like, what do you? I mean, the whole point of Kit Bash is like for commercial use once paid for, so there's no need to credit.
Yeah, Kit Bash is mainly just whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the whole like segment with assets first. But some people will be like, oh, what, should I learn to model? What if I?
You should learn to model, 100%.
No, you should learn at least to like just in case you have something specific that in your mind. Like at least for me right now, I can anything specific that I want to model, I can.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything that's like sculpting. Like if I have a specific character, I can't do that. Like
I can't sculpt.
I think character models is a bit harder.
Yeah, character models are hard. I mean, that's why you go I would even consider it a Kit Bash route to go with like Daz and then like
but that's
Kit Bash hair assets and
with characters that it's like the whole different proportions and everything like that, and they're like organic. They're not really solid, and especially if you want to make something specific, you have Daz. I don't know if you want to go really manual and you have to like learn like anatomy, learn how to sculpt and ZBrush or whatever.
It's not that worth it in my opinion, but I mean it depends on what you're going for.
That depends on it depends on the person. Maybe they want to be a character model.
Yeah, if you want to be a character modeler, then you're gonna have to learn how to make character models and you're gonna have to sculpt. Because like I met a lot of people who got into 3D and wanted to do like the anime edit sort of things, like the stuff that I do or the stuff that Xsense does, and a lot of them would like start by like learning how to model characters, and a lot of them like just stopped because they were trying to do the whole process, right? They're trying to do exactly what I did, which was full environments, character animation, VFX, like everything. But they tried to do it while also doing character creation. I was like, bro, you're gonna stretch or something. If it's what you want to do, go for it. But trust me, it is hard.
take it one at a time. You know.
Yeah, take one things one at a time, especially character creation. That's a process.
Because like all the good artists out there who make amazing characters and animations, they spend a hell of a lot of time.
Yeah, it takes them like years.
Especially the ones who do who want to do mocap. Yeah, like they model their character. They know what they're doing because they spent the time doing it. You know? Like I don't get the quality of work that I get because I just I'm still trying to get better at what I do, and it's just like,
same.
It's really just practice, and it helps, you know.
Yeah. So, I guess texturing too is a big thing. Like even if you buy an asset or you get an asset, maybe if it doesn't fit the style but the model works, you can maybe even change the textures. Like let's say you bought like a car. This is the last thing I'm probably going to end on, but like if you bought a car but it's a realistic car but you're doing a toon shaded animation, you're going to have to learn how to retexture that shit and then it's
for specific textures for me at least. I've just depending on like if it's a model like a hard surface one, I'll always use Substance Painter. Otherwise, I just use Blender or something, or I'll try and make like a texture like or it's a shoe for example. I make make the fabric. I like kit bash the images and make it.
Yep.
I'll put like the markers and I'll UV it myself, whatever, and it works, you know. Or just like.
True.
But it's good also because especially when you buy assets, a lot of them won't come with textures, so you're gonna have to get them yourself. Like the textures I got were for a great price, but they had no textures, not even any UVs at all. So you also have to learn how to texture.
Yeah, even
along with texturing, you have to learn how to UV. So you have to.
Yeah, exactly. Because like when I did like the Cyberpunk environment, like all of the textures in that are mine. Like that's the one thing about the environments that like even though I ripped them using Ninja Ripper to get the models from game, they came with textures, though they were named so awfully that I couldn't attach them to things unless they were automatically there when I imported them. So a lot of it was like me having to make procedural textures or make my own with them with like regular PBRs and try to match the environment as close as possible. So yeah, I mean, texturing is a big thing even when buying or making your own models. Making your own models, it makes sense. You have to texture it, but even buying them, sometimes you might want to adjust it. Maybe that ground texture that you bought online is not shiny enough, and you want water to be there. Maybe there's rain puddles on the stone concrete texture you need. How do I do that? Oh, let me put a noise texture, color ramp. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Noise RGB,
Yeah, exactly. Like you kind of have to put in a lot of that effort. I guess that goes into standing out as an artist. I'm interested to hear your take on that. Like standing out as an artist.
There's a lot of factors apart. First is the obvious one is actually like, being good,
Yeah, just be good. It's a skill issue. It's a skill issue, guys.
No, but that's actually like true. That's a fact. Like if you want to stand out, be good, get good.
Yeah.
I think like if you ask like maybe like one of my colleagues or other artists, how do I stand out? Grind, get good. You get good, you get you stand out. You get clients, you get your followers, and you get all that kind of stuff. And and it won't happen from the beginning, unless you're like super lucky or something. Or you just happen to be just like just a god of what at it or something.
Yeah.
But you just have to like grind and be good. But the other thing is to also like. Apart from just being good, also just try look at, let's say if you want to stand out, you can also try look at trends, like what's trendy or something like that. Like
yeah, like satisfying animations. That's kind of a trend.
Let's say last year, right? There's Avatar. If you made Avatar-based renders, people would be like, "Oh my god, you made Avatar renders so cool! Repost, whatever."
It's why I made the Cyberpunk thing. Cyberpunk was good for a little bit. I might have extended that hype level to past where it was, but yeah. Like if you make a thing based on that.
Yeah.
aspect.
Also, it also helps to stand out when you make something based, like I guess something that's either or like original, like if it's
Mm-hmm.
your own idea, something that no one has ever done before. A lot of vendor artists online do like similar things. They stand out, but there are ones who are like who have like a very specific, distinct style, and they just stand out from the rest.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. The other is also, let's say, this also falls into like the trends part. There is one artist called Patrick 4D, and he's a sculptor,
Mm-hmm.
sculpt artist, and he used to always do characters, like not hyper realistic, but
Yeah, I
big
remember.
realistic looking, like SpongeBob or Patrick or Gumball or maybe like Finn and Jake,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And then eventually it got into food. There's like the whole, like, there's Oreo, and then there's Oreo, and then there is like Hot Pocket and stuff like that. Eventually, him doing that all over again got him recognition from some of those brands. Sometimes he did like Balenciaga biscuits, Gucci cookies. I mean, those look delicious. Not gonna lie, like the renders
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, and then eventually you get attracted to that, and that's one way you could stand out as well.
Yeah, trends are
Yeah.
definitely a good way.
Yeah.
I'm
But
I don't know how much style goes into it. I mean, style definitely goes into it if you have a unique style, but at this point, it is very hard to be.
But if
You're-
not unique but really good at that style,
Mhm.
you also will stand out. But this is only for the whole, like, just exposure kind of aspect. Standing out in terms of like the business side.
Oh yeah.
This also applies, but you also have to show like what can you offer. What's going to benefit. Like
Yeah.
businesses, for example.
And then I think that goes into like the very specific set of skills rather than being super
Yeah.
generalist. With render people, like people on Instagram who stand out socially are usually good at, let's say, environments, let's say modeling. Overall, can make a pleasing image and result type deal. Your end result's good.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
yeah.
yeah.
But basically, if you're gonna stand out and you want to have like money off of it as well, if you're gonna have a business, one thing that's gonna actually help is actually make something that's going to be helpful to someone, right? So, for instance, if you like animating, one thing you can do is just do like the commercial path, where you just make commercials and you can just try show like your technical skills, and maybe
A lot of
you
people
can
do that.
put this-
I have noticed
so you
that.
can do this. That's one way. Doing like the commercials and stuff, showing. Yeah, you could be like maybe work for like marketing and help a company boost its sale by making like a sick commercial or something like that, or
Yeah.
or maybe help, depending on what kind of artist you are. Maybe you want to improve a website's design or something like that. That's also one thing, and you show that on your portfolio, and you stand out. And in addition, if you work with enough clients or studios, especially with big clients, like, I don't know, Apple or Microsoft or whoever,
Yeah.
that also helps a lot with standing out, because then people know that you worked for these companies before, and that you have what it takes to do that,
Yeah, you just have to
so
be
that's-
good at like a very specific thing too.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
especially standing out that way, like character animation. Let's say if you're a character animator, or let's say you just do character animation, maybe you do something similar to what I do in terms of short films and stuff. Let's say you're trying to make a job out of it and you find that like, oh, okay, I really enjoy character animation like I do. You might really put like all your skill points into that and like just produce like default renders of like highly like animated characters. I've been watching a lot of like game animation reels of like character animation for games, and they're just like default view rendered with like claw sims and like very bouncy energetic animation. A lot of that stuff will help you stand out because clearly you're showing like your expertise in that thing.
Oh yeah. Especially stand out more if depending on the industry, if you're doing a more specialized thing.
Yeah.
Like if your portfolio just straight up just does textures, people just know like, yeah, this guy does textures,
Yeah.
Don't mess with him, he does textures.
He knows how to UV on rap, man.
He knows how to UV on map. He knows the PBR materials. He knows
Oh,
the
yeah.
normals, roughness. So if you show that also helps as well, because if you just do everything, then it's very hard to see like, oh, why would we hire you? We don't even know what you do, because it's so
Broad,
vague.
yeah.
It's just so broad.
Broad,
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Sometimes, depending on the situation, sometimes if you could do a lot of things, that can be you become like a jack of all trades, and some people would need that, especially like smaller corporations who need
smaller
like, a guy
teams
who
and
can do a
stuff.
little bit of everything, a problem solver basically.
Yep.
You
I mean,
know,
that's
that's
definitely
also
where you start getting to like the VFX director or animation directors and stuff like that of like the teams,
that
because they tend to be the
that
jack of all trades, but like because they dabble in everything.
yeah, but that one's a little. It's especially getting good. It can take like a while because you're not learning one specific thing. You're trying to learn everything
Mm.
and become good at it. You won't master like everything because it's going to be it's a really long time because you have to like learn all those good all those things. But if you do get really good at it, for example, like Ian Schubert,
Yeah.
then you really stand out because you're not just you're competing with other artists, standing out from the other artists and like showing that don't just know animation, I also know texturing,
Yeah.
environment
I
design,
mean, a
all
lot
that
of
kind of stuff,
like even
balancing
even him, I wouldn't even consider super a jack of all trades, because even his like he's been very particular
I
about
mean,
modeling, texturing, environment making, 100%. Animation, when it comes to animation, a lot of it's like these like very precise rigs, so like he understands the technical rig aspect, so he can do like
yeah,
mechanical
yeah, but
arms and
I
stuff.
still
But
I,
even the
I would
character
still
animations like mocap suits, like he's
yeah, but I
not
would still
going
Yeah, but
completely
I would
too
still
far.
see him as a generalist because there are people who
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he can do
solely do
everything.
like animation, who just solely do texturing, who just straight up just only do modeling and only on those specific things. This is
Yeah, and
also why I like
he's
doing
able to set up like a pleasant scene and all
yeah, and
that
this is
too.
why I like
So
doing the motion design kind of aspect because
yeah, I can see that.
it's like kind of like a hybrid of a jack of all trades. Like because it's there's animation, but it's more on like this section. It's kind of specific niches, but it's
Yeah,
also a little bit in demand, I guess. At least for now, because recession. so, but yeah, I mean that's like, yeah, but that's there's that standing out. The other thing to stand out, which is something that not everyone can control, just to be real. I don't think anyone talks about this, but it's also depending on your location,
oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
it
I
can
don't think
help.
anyone really talks. Yeah, if you're
Well, because if you're an artist and like your posts are all in like a language that the studio can't understand, it like what do you? How are they
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
hire
yeah,
you? I don't know.
that's one thing. But if you're gonna be, hired or something like that, the time zone matters as well. If you're more in the west area in the
Where I
United
am?
States,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I think you're most likely to get better opportunities there because there's more demand there.
Yeah,
There's
and like
projects
when
there.
the client's up and they need you, you're actually up and you're
Yeah,
not like in
yeah.
4 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah, here, I mean, it's not easy to get ones from the United States because it's like a completely different time zone. Even though that you're working remotely, this matters because they will talk to you, on their time zone. You'll be sleeping when they're awake. They'll be sleeping when you're awake. So
Mm-hmm.
there's also that, and it becomes harder to communicate. It's not impossible, but
It is a lot
you,
harder.
yeah. But if you take advantage of where you are, right? Especially, for example, here in the UAE, if you work in the UAE, you'll get clients from the Middle East,
Yep.
Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain,
Yeah, which has
all that kind
mostly
of stuff, right?
been your clientele, right?
Exactly, right? So, and if you're in America, you could most likely get clients there. There are disadvantages with working in a more like, let's say, like demanded area, so to speak. So, for example, in the US, there's a lot of demand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of clients, but there's also a lot of competition, right? And
Yep.
it's very important to stand out in the US because there's a lot of people who are
I think
definitely
U.S.
gonna
and
be,
like Europe, right? Like a little bit in that area as well. Because
some in
I mean,
Europe.
yeah, because I know this. There's a lot of studios there.
Yeah, but UK is like yes, absolutely. But other parts of Europe, like yeah, yes, there's studios, but I don't think it's any different to the ones everywhere else around the world. It's just that in US and the UK specifically, just that they have a bit more, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have like a pretty high demand. I mean, so do we.
The other thing is, especially when it comes to like world class clients, right?
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft, Apple,
Marvel or some shit.
PlayStation, Xbox, they're all from United States, so it's all gonna come from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, like for example, if you're here, right, you have local brands. You have like PlayStation Arabia, Adidas, Mena, or whatever, but that's still the main company is all the way back in US. So you're gonna get all that here. But
and then you also have the problem too that like when US companies are like trying to be cheap, they try to go to like that country because they're like, oh, maybe we can pay less.
Yeah, the other thing is if you work, let's say, in a different area, there's a good chance that, let's say, for example, you're in Middle East, right? There's not as many artists, as much as competition as there were to be in US. So you can take advantage of that. You could stand out because even though there's not much demand here compared to the US, there's also not too many artists, depending on where you are. You know, I mean, I know that in like
or even the artist moved. You know.
Yeah, I know in like East Asia, there's like a lot of artists there. You know, but I don't know the industry there. They also get like they also have their competition. But here it's like it's pretty. You know, you can take advantage because there's also like my boss told me like some companies in I think Iraq don't even know that there's like this kind of thing like 3D commercials, 3D animations, and all this kind of things. And he's from
they don't even know it really exists as like a.
They don't even know. I guess they know what. They like 3D animation is, but
they know,
like,
but they
for commercials, but they don't know like about the motion design.
Yeah.
He called it the virgin market. It's a virgin market. They don't even know. So it's like he wanted to take advantage of that. Here there are a lot of tech companies that are here as well. So you can
I mean, it is smart. Business wise, it's smart.
Yeah. So you can just take advantage of that if you ever have like that kind of opportunity here or whatever. If you see any. But yeah, that's one way to stand out. So yeah, location is also another important thing. Some people will say like, where you're from doesn't really matter. Some people will say that, but it kind of does to an extent.
Oh yeah, it definitely does.
It's like the whole time zone thing. And
I mean, you don't see me working on like anime intros, like I'm not like an actual anime's intro. Like what if I wanted to work for an anime company and I wanted to do animation, like 3D animation for them?
Like in Japan
you would have to. Well, you don't have to be. I know a lot of them have been branching out. There's a guy in like a state away from me doing it.
In Japan,
it would be
a lot more convenient.
But like you would also then have to stand out because I have seen artists in like a state away from me work for Mappa on like Jujutsu Kaisen, Chainsaw Man, all that. But they stand out because they're posting on Twitter. They're good at what they do, so clearly they have proven themselves to work in that. So again, still standing out, but like also being specialized. Like I do this, so they will hire you.
Yeah, but the other thing is also like.
But yeah, again, it's still hard.
Yeah, but the other thing is also like, apart from location is, what it says on your portfolio, right? If it just, like I'm pretty sure you've heard stories like if it just says like, India, right? You're gonna assume like, oh, this guy's from India. I could pay him less, Yep. He's good. He's amazing. He's probably better than this ones that we were looking at right now. But I could pay him less because he's from India. So that's also something to take into account. So people will take advantage of that. Yeah,
I mean they only pay less because I think I would assume the assumption is that the country has a much smaller cost of living.
Yeah.
So a lot of times like a lot of companies will take advantage of that in like I would say wouldn't say it was a good or bad way, but they will change rates. Or they might even completely short to the point where it's like below cost of living standards even in that country.
Yeah, but that's
so you gotta be careful.
Also, even though they put it lower, then there's also like artists who will charge like, this is enough, and then they'll even try to negotiate even lower because there's going to be someone who's going to be like, I'll do it. I'll do it for free, and that causes like a bunch of problems and whatever. It's a bit annoying. Like I had like a former colleague, sorry, and he was like, no, like everyone always wants to underpay everyone, and then like I hear people who just straight up just under like this will be like, yeah, I'll do it for less, and that's why all the artists are being paid for like much less and stuff.
I mean, that's the only problem with the idea of competition in this space, because
I guess because people will go lower and lower. But
yeah,
like,
because people are desperate and they
yeah,
want.
it's hard, especially like I had like one client like, oh, we wanted to do like we really like your work. We really like your work. We really want you to work on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, well, I could do it. I told them that I had like I was still. This is when I was still in vacation, and I said like I'm not in the country right now. I'm not in Dubai, so I have to like you have to give me like a few days. Like I'll be back on this date.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, yeah, okay. I'll look at it. Like I'll do it, but you have to understand that I'll have to like rush it a bit, right? And they were really like saying like, yeah, okay, we really want to like work with you, so give us your rate. As soon as I gave him the rate, silence.
Silence, yeah.
Bruh.
It is kind of rude that they'll just not respond.
Yeah, but they'll say like, we'll get back to you on Monday. It's now Thursday. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, at least be upfront. It's like, ooh, we're looking for. We don't have the budget for that. At least be upfront, man. Like,
yeah, at least. Yeah.
Come on. I had some TikToker dude with like 2 million followers like ask me, "Hey, can you make this TikTok for me?" And it was like during this time of this weird trend. I forgot the name of the song, but he wanted like a bunch of anime characters running through the scene. And I was like, yeah, sure. It's $100 per day, because that was my rate at the time, where it was like a daily rate. It was just $100. This was a while ago. This was like 2 or 3 years ago, and he was like, oh, and then he just said oh, and then just left. I was like, okay.
Well, the thing is, I don't think they understand, because it's not just like like having to we need money just to live, but this is like we also have like the software thing,
Yeah, but it was also like the quality of work that I don't know what he wanted, because he didn't really fully explain it, but like especially YouTubers and content creators, working for them is kind of a struggle, because you don't know if they want meme level quality, or if they want realistic like actually trying. And then when I say like $100, at the time it was like that was like full quality. It's like if you want like a meme edit, I can make it in like 10 minutes for like $20.
Exactly. Dude, I did so annoying. Like client be like, yo, we want this like Samsung level commercial quality, right?
Yeah.
Also, we're not paying you enough, so
really upset. They want to make it,
and then they blame it on us. I'm like, bro, you paid me like how much? Actually, they didn't even pay me, because I was and I'm like, dude, like you really want me to do it? Give me more money, I can do it, because it's not just me asking, not for the sake of it, but there's also like the render farm credits, assets, and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And all that plugins and.
Your position's a little bit more is way less understandable to pay less in. But even like content creators is just hard, because you don't know what they want, and a lot of them like I don't even think they know what they want in terms of like being like, oh, I want something that's memey, or I want something that's like Marvel movie quality in this.
Yeah, they're a bit content creators can be a bit depending on who. I guess some it's okay.
Yeah, there's some. I've had good ones.
The ones who are like the best content creators, they have like their own team.
Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Yep. Or they have the budget to.
Yeah.
And they understand the field enough. Like I guess a prime example was when I worked for Reanime. He was paying me on like a per shot basis, because like I only had like a certain amount of shots to do.
Fair enough.
I don't know if that's like normal. I worked with him like
it's different for every there's a whole like per project, per video, per hour.
Yeah, I guess it depends on like how you do it. I kind of went into it. The project I worked on him with was like more of like I'm just kind of interested to see what it's like, so I kind of just want the opportunity. So I didn't really like go into like specifics with contracts. I remember he was like, okay, you have like these 5 shots that I want you to do. I'm gonna pay you like this much depending on how hard it is. Basically, he gave me like a range. It was like if it was hard, this. If it was easy, this. And I'm like, well, I can just say all these are hard.
Exactly. You can just straight up say, so it's a bit.
I mean, I was honest at least. I was like, okay, these 3 were hard, these 2 weren't. So like in total, it was like it came out to like after like 2 weeks, but it wasn't like. It's again that's why I don't know if it's worth it when you're getting paid on a per shot basis.
At the time, if you're starting out, you don't.
I do gotta bleep his name out though, because now we're talking about specifics, so
that's fine.
You gotta remember that.
But yeah, but like it's, it's so there's that. But sometimes, especially getting back to the location, depending on where you're from, man, the clients can be a pain. Like especially. Sometimes here in the Middle East, UAE is actually not that bad compared to like the one I had in like the client I had in Iraq. Like I think the guy that we were talking to was just he didn't know what he wanted and he just made it hard and he had such high standards and by the way he didn't pay like any of us. Like we were a whole team. He didn't pay any of us because he was like, let's get the project done first, right?
Yeah.
And it's like he wanted this much, and man, that was such a pain. So it's like
it's not worth it sometimes, man. I don't know.
But here sometimes depending on the project, it's good, Like I can live with this, But it's like, we don't get. I don't get that many projects anymore because of like how. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't think I've charged my rate at all. But I just that even though I've been like reaching. Are you sleeping?
No, I'm just resting. My ear felt weird. I'm like, oh yeah, he's talking. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Yeah,
keep talking.
I've been like reaching out, even like to all older people and smaller clients and new people as well, and they're like. I will get back to you. All legit, everyone that I've messaged on Behance, everyone has said, "What's your rate?" Here's my rate. All of them, by the way, silence. It's like, bruh. There's this one. I was like, he actually messaged me to do like a project for Reebok. I think I said this before, like a commercial or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, let me get back to you. Gone.
Yeah, I'll bleep that out. But isn't it better? I feel like in your line of work, when it comes to commercials and stuff and ads and getting clients or stuff like that, isn't it much better to work for a studio under a salary, to where nothing is changed?
Yeah, it is. But even though if you're working under a studio, depending,
I guess the salary is more what I'm questioning.
No, salary is also. This is where the advantage of a studio comes in because you get the salary and everything like that. But it's still here. It can be even for a studio. It can be hard to get those kind of clients because sometimes these clients again they not only want to underpay artists but they also want to underpay studios.
Mm-hmm.
So that also makes it harder. And it's like. It's not fair. Like this is like it's not it's not like easy or anything like that. It's not like we can just make it just like that. There's the whole AI thing, but it doesn't mean that there's no effort being put into these kind of things. Especially if you wanted to make it look like really good, really refined.
Yeah, so. It's stressful, man. We do gotta wrap up. I mean, we're at 56 minutes, but we might as well wrap up, and then we can.
That felt like 20 or something.
Yeah, it did.
I guess we got carried away.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. We started talking about clients. We kind of strayed away from standing out, but I don't know if you want to.
I mean, we kind of like explained it.
Yeah, we did.
A good amount of time.
We did, and we got the other topic out of the way too. So, yeah. All right, guys. This you can outro it. I don't want to outro it.
This has been the Third Party Podcast with Josh and me, Alex.
Hell yeah.
Don't forget to check out our socials. We're, as always, dead. Instagram, YouTube, dead.
I mean, it's so... No, I'm dead too, but it's only because I'm still... We're by the way, we're still in the process of me working on Cyberpunk, so that's kind of we're still in that time.
I mean, I'm busy.
He's hella busy too.
His own client is also like the personal stuff and
Yep.
like personal stuff. But yeah, there's that, and
Just make sure to
yeah.
check out our sponsors, Skillshare and Dubby. You guys know the percentages.
Yeah.
If you're a consistent watcher of the podcast, you know it's 30% or 30% off. Sorry, off your
I don't know the
first
numbers.
of your first month
I'm just
on Skillshare. A free trial helps us out as well. So go do that. Dubby, 10% off any order. All that stuff, guys. It's great. I ran out of W. I gotta order more.
yes.
I need it for the podcast. Yep. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed.
Yes.
Peace.